Okay.
Just FYI, the meeting is now live streamed, just so you guys are all aware.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All right, I guess it's 6:30. We can call the meeting to order. First of all, I want to thank everyone for coming. I know Friday nights are not the most convenient for everyone, so I really appreciate everyone stepping forward to be here this evening. I guess we'll just go through a roll call. Let's see. Renee is here. Renee Slaughter.
Here.
Deidre Evans, not here. Brian Hill.
Here?
Nick Miles.
Here.
And I'm Jim Wallace. I'm here as well. Okay, well now I guess we'll get started. We're following up on our meeting from the 23rd of October to primarily focus on the FY 26 operating budget and eventually this month the capital budget. The goal is to try and work through the budget to be prepared for the council to be in a position to pass this budget at the beginning of December. That's our goal. I think it's a manageable goal at this point.
I'm sorry.
You need an agenda?
Yes, please.
I think I had another one here somewhere, but that's fine, thank you.
So then I was hoping maybe we could lead off with just a quick review of the FY 25 budget performance. I know Kathleen's been diligently working on that. So see if Kathleen
Yes,
has any updates to
so
discuss.
I did put together an updated financial statement as of the end of October 31st. This is where we currently are. Within this, we are missing 1 week of payroll for October. So then for the rest of the year, it would be about 9 weeks. There's 3 more bill cycles that will go through in 2025. And also 3 months worth of utility expense to take into consideration with where we are. Other than that, we cut off all spending other than typical maintenance for each department. So we do not expect anything else outside of typical monthly expenses.
Okay, so if it's 6, then the typical monthly expenses now through the end of the year, does it look favorable for?
Yeah. It's mostly payroll, utilities, the monthly contracts for like the security systems, the fire systems and stuff like that. And we also did do our transfers to the capital reserves for the year. And those are in investment accounts with Edward Jones.
But at least the ballpark projections are you're comfortable that the town's going to come in under budget total for the year. You have some confidence to that occurring.
Yes. We will make it happen.
Okay. Okay, I guess the next thing is, part of this is, if there's anything you wanted to review as far as, were there any major FY 25 budget challenges or results that you had to deal with? Any big wins that you can refer back to?
Well, the big ones, it's mostly on the finance side. We did bring in all cash reconciliations in-house. That was something that I started this year. We did a lot of relying on outside contractors for work. And as we go through the FY 24 audit, a lot of that will be on me. And we're relying less on the outside contractors. In 2025, we did complete 2 whole audits between the fiscal year 23 and the state audit. And we will be halfway through the 2024 audit. And that is all despite major staffing changes in the finance department. In the last 3 audits, we had a major cash discrepancy. And that is reconciled, and we will be without a qualified opinion for the 2024 audit, and that is huge. We are matching the actuary determined contributions for the pensioners. I'm working with our actuary and our investments, as we are now to the point where we are pooling money from the investments to cover the town employee legacy pensioners. And then we are sending money to the investments for the police pension, as the police pension is the one that is underfunded. So I did wanna make sure that we are doing what we need to for the pension. And then the rest of this was with what we have in investments. We did move $3 million of our general funds to an investment money market account. We also moved over $2 million of our rainy day investments to Edward Jones.
So what that's doing for us is just to kind of explain where now we switched over. It was probably about a 6 to 7 month process. We went from PNC, ended up going to WSFS. What WSFS is giving us was about 4% on every account across the board, which we know is
It's
a great number. But unfortunately, we also know that that number is never going to stay the same. So we, with creating new procedures, so with our new investment policies, it requires us to make sure that we don't keep all of our money in one place. So with one of the things we met with Edward Jones, and we decided to take the money that we had that really is just sitting, right, with our rainy day fund and stuff like that, and to really make a conscious effort to invest that to make it give us a good rate of return. So we're like 4.17% that we're on a short-term money market account with them, which will continue to keep that money in. So, we anticipate seeing a reduction in that 4% from this as time moves. But we've been very lucky for the last several months,
Yes.
getting 4% on every account that we have. So, but moving around and making sure that we stay, consistent.
Is there anything else you like for reviewing the FY25 budget? Anything else in there that you wanted to bring up?
I think I'm good for 25.
Okay.
Are there any questions for 25?
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
So if there was one item that jumped out at me, at the police side. So communication equipment had a expenditure of $105,000. If I'm reading this right. We go to, not that one.
Are you in the budget?
Yeah, so it was the budget, but I was looking at 25's numbers, so it would have been expenses already happening.
Okay.
Unless I take this wrong, which I tried to make sure I had all my numbers right. But let's see here. So we don't see. And the line is communication equipment. But your police has like 3 different sections.
Yes, so we have
does, so-
admin,
Yeah.
dispatch, and uniform.
So, and I can kind of explain that a little better for you.
Okay.
What is this?
Back then, we had some consultants in the town that decided that they would break the police department out into 3 different departments. I don't understand why. And then they would give a budget to each department. So they looked at it as admin, which covered chief lieutenants.
The people that weren't out in the field.
Right, people that weren't out. Dispatch, which covered 8 of them. And then uniforms. They needed one of them a budget.
Okay.
That was, it actually became tough to deal with, right? Because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I was giving a clothing allowance, and I was having to pull it from here and then pull it from here, and it was just messy. So, this year's when we actually reduced them down to the back of one across the board.
Okay,
It was too much going back and forth between the departments. Communication equipment is we're on a schedule, and I can't remember what the IT schedule is, but that's like all the computers at dispatch. So, you go in our dispatch center, we probably have 7 monitors on 3 stations, plus computers to run each one of those
Right.
computers.
okay,
And obviously, things have to stay relevant, things have to stay up to date. So that's just communication equipment is that, radios,
okay.
and all that stuff, and that every one of them is just.
So I guess my question is, you guys bought new equipment or whatever in 2025 that wasn't on the budget?
So,
It's what it's looked like to me, which is,
Yeah.
I mean,
so this is the original budget that was approved, but we have since done budget transfers to cover the from lines that weren't used to cover lines that were needed for,
okay,
but yes.
okay. So we didn't budget it, we ended up with the expense, so now we're budgeting almost another, it looks like roughly 60%. Cause we're now we're saying, hey, we wanna put into the budget line 66,000.
Yeah, there's a ton of just
And it's also like,
reoccurring expenses, and I'm sure Brian can attest to that you have to stay on top of, and have to stay relevant. Sometimes 1 year it might not be there, the next year it might have to be there. And when you're running a full dispatch center, those are just kind of some of those necessary evils that just kind of pop up. Between, like I said, new computers, new screens. Again, there's 3 stations and there's monitors for everything. All of that stuff, and we're obviously dictated by the state. So the state can walk in and say, you need this. I can tell you 2 years ago, they walked in and said, your CAD's no good and you're going on our court. And by the way, it's gonna cost you $500,000. And we didn't have a choice.
And your accreditation.
And
State
part of
accreditation.
accreditation is mandatory, things like that. So you're always gonna see those random expenses go up and down throughout, 1 year off and on. So, other things that are, like I said, the radios are the biggest. They're
Okay.
unbelievably expensive. Just an in-car radio itself is about $5,000, right? So all of those things are kind of, if you think about an in-car radio, think about a portable radio is about $2,500. The ones that go in for the actual dispatch center are ridiculous. But you gotta stay up, right? This things that the state comes in and they'll say, all right, it's no more 900 megahertz or even 700 megahertz, we're gonna do whatever for you. So that's where you're seeing the increases for those guys.
Okay.
and this also includes all of their phone lines, internet, cell phones as well for the department.
Okay. And then what's the contractual services that doesn't look like it's been, and this is again in the police line. It doesn't look like it had been budgeted, it doesn't look like they had any expenses last year. But now you're putting in a budget of 207,000.
For 25, we also accidentally cut quite a bit from the police department accidentally. So they had to do a lot of budget transfers to cover those shortfalls. This is all of their monthly contractual payments
Our biggest
for
contractual,
subscriptions over there.
yeah, our biggest contractual is our Axon, and Axon runs about $100,000 a year.
And that
that
is for,
That is all body cameras and car cameras. It's not the actual cameras in themselves, it is the cloud. They offer everything for free. Of course they do.
what
And
did I
then,
say?
and then they give, you pay X amount of dollars per unit for things. So Axon is really the juggernaut in the industry. And, so that.
EXO1?
Yes, yes. So they maintain, so we figure every car has an Axon camera in it, every officer has a body camera that is Axon related. The interview rooms have Axon, and then, so it all talks. And like I said, at the height, it's about 100,000.
Facility repair and maintenance. So last year, we had budgeted we had budgeted 106,000. Looks like we spent about 50.
So, which are we talking police
Uh,
department?
Police department still,
Is it this?
Well, yeah,
yeah, cause my town manager, I think, oh no, it's town managers, I'm sorry.
Okay, so that 50,000 was for the outside of the Opera House, I think the beginning of the year. And then we just did the roof
Yep.
here. So that's an expense that's not on there yet.
And then what are, in the 180,000, what are you predicting that?
We are going to do work to the house
So we
out
have,
back.
yeah, we have a few buildings that we have that need to be just updated, and maintained. You figure Public Works, Town Hall, Blue Earl, Opera House. We just acquired, the Lindman's property, and, what else do we have another,
We have the building out back.
the house behind us.
Yeah.
So just overall maintenance, because where we are right now at this point,
We need office space.
we need office, we are running out of space as it is. So there needs to be some upgrades done to some buildings to make them usable. So until we recorded a price to upgrade the house behind us was about 100,000, to upgrade out of the rural is another 100,000. And that's just to get it to operate. Because Blue Earl is completely full of black mold.
Jordan. Just a question, with the pension for the county municipal plan for the police. I see the 25, it was 178,000, and now it's 388,000 and some change.
So those based off of salaries. And things like that.
The
So
2025 budget,
Oh, no, it got cut.
it
got cut significantly.
it was accidentally put in at the same rate as the town employees.
Okay, so, okay.
Yeah.
Cause
So
I
there
see the
was-
year
yeah.
before it was 279,
Yeah.
then it went to
It's the wrong part.
178, now it's up to 388.
Yeah.
And I'm sure in the last 2 years, you've hired
Yeah, you've
quite a few more guys.
got an increase in just the overall cost itself.
Yeah.
But then you also have the increase in.
In manpower.
workforce and manpower.
Yeah.
As well, so. So you're definitely gonna see an increase. in
It's just a big jump, that's what
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
And then the legacy pension also jumped, because we restructured how much we're contributing to the police versus the town employees as well.
Yeah, 'cause it jumped 200,000.
So overall, we're doing the same
Right
amount
about.
for pension, it's just shifting from which side.
520 to 720.
They mentioned like earlier that there's a police plan that was a little bit underfunded, you're working to get it in shape.
The police
You run it.
legacy plan is
Legacy
underfunded.
plan.
Yep,
What's the prediction for that one?
I think we're on like a 10-year plan with the actuary. I think we're on a 10 to 15-year plan with the actuary to get that straightened out.
So, and to talk about the significance of what she said that we're actually paying from that amount, when I did a brief stint in this side of the house in 2022, we were paying all legacy pensions out of the general fund.
And we weren't contributing
Yeah, we
anything
were not.
extra.
Not at all.
Because I had
And it was funded at about 79%. So, to have it to where we are actually paying from the plan itself, it's actually a big, that's all the service.
So the projected budget for
So you went
26,
from
you're
520
comfortable
to
with the amount that's gonna be available for funding this?
It matches the reports from the
Yeah.
actuary.
So the actuary has actually given us
a lot
a,
of
Yeah.
hey, this is what you need to do for the next 10 years to get it to up to the percentage it needs to be, and it's in excess of somewhere
it's over
close to
$1
$1
million.
million a year. It needs to be, because unfortunately in 2016, they stopped funding it.
Right, so we're doing the catch up.
Yep.
Yeah. Um.
Okay, so I have a question. So under, police patrol, the special duty pay, it looks like we have a line item for the budget on that now, whereas in 25 we did it.
We did not.
So, and I can explain that to you, we actually did a budget amendment, we did add that. So it's a wash, right? So what happens is instead of us pulling from general, like, we were paying it from salaries, I think or overtime, whatever it was, and it was losing. So if Brian says, hey, I need a police officer, we're gonna quote you a price of like $89 an hour, right? Well, the officer is going to make $80 an hour, $9 an hour goes to the town. I'm gonna bill Brian, Brian's gonna pay us back. The problem was it was getting paid from overtime, right? When it comes back in from Brian, it goes in general fund. So then that's reducing the overtime budget.
It doesn't show on the
Yeah,
overtime
it doesn't
budget.
show, right? So
So we need to
As-
create another
as-
line.
So we created, and it
A
literally,
GL.
and that's all it is, it's a geo where money goes in, money goes out, money comes back in.
It's a
Right.
wash,
It's
Yeah.
really is a wash.
definitely is a
It's
wash.
just, what it does is it helps keep the overtime budget, and nothing is coming out of there, and it's not, because it's never goes back in. So,
How many officers are we up to now?
full strength?
Yeah.
36,
36?
full strength. I know, Ryan was what, 16?
I was number
We got here?
16. Brian Moore was 17.
Back
That was
in the
it. Back when it was good.
They rid of horses.
Girl,
Kathleen, do you have like a list of like little notes, like side notes that refer to the different areas that kind of summarize some of the key bullet points or amounts? As we focus and go through this line by line before the next meeting, anything that would support our review of that.
1 second. I think I put that together, but I didn't print it out.
Pardon?
I said I didn't print it out for tonight.
Okay, I mean, if you will have it at some point that, and you send it to me, I'll make sure to distribute it to the other committee members. Maybe just where there's significant, proposed significant increases,
Mhm.
decreases, that kind of, just a brief
So,
note of that.
yeah, so the biggest one were, in finance. There was a significant increase, we budgeted for 2 audits. We have an increase in payroll costs, we added the customer service and billing manager. We do have an unfilled accountant position. Over the whole employee-wide, we do have a 12% increase in health insurance. We also have a lot more people with family plans versus employee-only or no insurance plans. And that significantly increased our cost this year. IT brought over 2 positions that were in other departments. So that was the biggest increase to IT this year, was just relocating other positions to that department. Same thing with manager's office. Last year we budgeted 2.5 positions. Tori was still with the police department, so his budget was there. This year we moved other positions into the manager's office. We brought over Tori, we brought over the administrative assistant, we brought over the special victims, and we expanded her role within the manager's office. We brought over a vacant position from planning and inspections, and we made that into our social media economic development position. And we brought over another vacant position in facilities, and that will be our safety position.
So we didn't add positions, we just moved them from other departments instead of having them sit over there.
So we moved over 4 positions into the town manager's.
Yes, and that's
Line.
the increase for like all payroll related expenses.
So where that increased 194% in the health insurance and FICA taxes,
Yeah.
all that
But,
corresponded.
so were they all lateral positions from other town
Yes, they came from other
Positions.
positions that
Yeah.
just got eliminated.
and so it should be a wash in
Yeah,
the
so there's-
overall budget?
So there's decreases in all the other departments to show that change.
Mhm. So that's 100% increase in the
Yeah.
town manager's position.
I did see that there were 2 areas that weren't budgeted last year with that liability insurance for the 69.
Yes, so the liability insurance, our insurance did increase this year. Our overall plan is $660,000. And that is broken out into almost every single department. I think it's in like an equal, like split between 10 departments, I think. But there is a line item in almost every single department for liability insurance.
That's
And
through
Pratt.
Pratt.
And then there is a significant increase in water sewer. Our Kent County rates from the county have increased 12%. We did take on new debt with the East Main Street project, that increased our debt service about $250. And then we have a position that will open up in July for another, water
People.
apprentice, I think. A water operator, that's what it is. And then trash increase is directly from the new trash contract.
Who's our rep for Pratt Insurance? Do we know?
Trey,
We
no,
deal with Trey 90% of the time.
Trey,
And before that, we had Ken Ebo.
yeah,
Until Ken retired,
He
and Trey
retired,
kind of,
yeah.
yeah, I deal with Trey.
Okay, with proposed budget, how comfortable are we overall, like, you know, for the capital reserve? We talked about the pension funds a little bit. How about the capital and reserve funds?
we budgeted in there 500,000.
That's a sufficient amount?
So, here's basically the it down to, and I think we kind of all had these conversations. We put 1.5 in, 1.7 in for 25, right?
24 still.
24 is still, we're still waiting for the numbers, but we anticipate it to be about 1.7 or higher, right? So now we're talking a little over $3.5 million that we can put into our capital reserve. If we, with the increases we're seeing in everything, right, just life. We, right now, the budget that you have in front of you, we are able to maintain. We are able to make sure that, staff is getting their contractual increases that have been negotiated. We are not going out and incurring any more debt, right? And we're still able to we're giving you a very low end $500,000 to put into capital reserve, which is still much better than what we were putting in the past, which was nothing.
Which is better than what you've been putting in the past, correct? Did you guys ever get the town council to change the amount that they were mandating?
That is on the boss lady over there.
Yeah, it is going to be on the agenda to change. We have not changed it yet, but we will be.
So right now, it's currently set at 7.9.
1 point.
Cause here, basically and here's what I said the two choices are, we are either going to have to raise taxes, or we are going to have to cut services.
I had a conversation with Barrett the other day, and he was writing it up to go on the agenda to be voted on.
Okay.
So that we can take care of it.
So, I mean, I think that we've been pretty fiscally responsible, in making sure that we put money in the bank.
Well, I mean, I agree. We felt
Yes,
that number
no.
was astronomical
Right.
Yeah.
and unachievable
Yeah.
It's been
when they
tough.
did that.
Yeah, it has been tough, and
Um,
but we're still.
So I
managing.
just wanted to make sure it was
Yep.
being
Yeah.
addressed.
We did.
Yeah.
We understand, we think that we should still be able to make a considerable contribution. And, the other thing is with investments, we're looking at whatever gains are actually made. That might offset some of the costs that we need to do to put in, so we're saying that because we know that's a minimum that we're comfortable enough to say that we can put in there. But at the end of the year, then we're anticipating that being higher.
So. Were we gonna talk about the capital budget as well, or?
Well, capital, after we get through the operating budget, I can maybe have a preview for the capital, and really kind of focus on the details for the capital at the next meeting.
Okay.
And then we need to close on for the operating at the next meeting. I know you had on the list of like the debt service and projections. Do you want to just give us an overview for that?
So next year, without taking any more debt on, next year will be our highest year for debt service. We don't really have anything start falling off or being like paid in full until 2032. And then that's when it starts drastically dropping.
But generally, we're comfortable with the interest rates that we have on them, and not looking at a refinancing.
We just reviewed all of them today, and we're anywhere from
To
2 to
less than-
4%, which is fairly low.
Oh, yeah.
That was one of the things that was a conversation of can we reduce that
Right,
anywhere? But unfortunately, we're looking at a potential schedule because we know that we have some projects that are coming that are some pretty high ticket capital projects. So I wanna try to look at some of the low hanging fruit and bucket and see if we can attack that and get that off our books sooner than later. And our goal is to try to at least put some cash out for some of these projects as well, to reduce whatever it is we can. We wanna get this paid down before 2049. It's a long time. But, again, we know we have a $15 million electrical substation that is in front of us, that we are 5 years from having the fund.
How much?
15. And then we have a water treatment facility that we need to redo, which is about 4 to 5, depending on timing. And we know that we went out, this is the congressional earmark funds that we went out for. We asked for 4.9, they gave us a letter that says we can do 1.9, and that's a possibility. We're still not sure because you're a Democratic state. So, verbatim in the letter. So, we don't know. We know that these are projects that are kind of, we have to do it. And giving you kind of a brief synopsis of what the water or the electrical substation is. Right now, we're running on 2 circuits, being our peak months are July and August. If we end up, right now, we're running on 2 circuits at 50%. if we end up having to take one down for maintenance or one goes, we're then operating at 100% on one circuit. And that's just a recipe for disaster, and will absolutely get us failed. We're in a very lucky situation because we do have DMEC here. DMEC is actually prepared that if things go south, right, we have the Beasley plant, which can help with us. But we don't want to ever have to get to that point.
Yeah,
So
they stay ahead of it.
with that load, we need to prepare, so this new facility will give us 2 more with the option to go to 4 in the long run. So, this should keep us up and running. And I don't see us going any further growth-wise after this next push that you're gonna see come through. So ideally, it should do its job for a long time.
It used to be driver across all departments is like healthcare expense.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Like healthcare costs for healthcare is that's not something you can easily control. Is that something you're associated with the state for that?
Yes, we have the state plans.
The state plans.
Move this in.
Which are probably the lowest.
I mean,
Yeah.
same stuff that any state worker's gonna have is the same identical.
Just because of the mass amount
Oh,
of
yeah.
people that are in
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So, with the insurance plans, they vary in cost by employee. I think our lowest plan is $12,000, and that's just an employee by itself, and it can go upwards to 40 grand if it's a family plan. So
Wow.
That's incredible.
it's a very large variable cost that it's hard to budget for unfilled positions.
But like ballpark for, in general, like healthcare increases from 25 to 26, what's the guesstimate right now?
12%,
12%.
and we just did a 12% bump July 1.
And you got, and if I remember correctly, the town pays 100% of that, the employee doesn't, really does pay. a
The
portion.
employee pays a portion.
What's the percentage now?
And that's depending on what department it is.
It's broken down by contract.
PD's
25% on the
25%.
employee.
for the employee.
For PD?
Actually, it's all, isn't it?
Mhm.
Aspen's not 25. That's well,
ASME was 25, yeah, they
Yeah.
were
so
25,
it's a 25, except for management, it's
17%. And then the employees pay full dental and eye.
Does that include the new electric contract?
So, no. The new union contracts
Union contracts will
are
go to 20.
20%.
They'll go back down, so originally for years it was 80-20, is what was paid, so new negotiation for both of the unions is going back down to 80, with the exception of PD, they're still at the 75-20.
But Public Works and those guys are at 20, they'll go down to 20.
Yep.
Champ one, yeah.
Still, I know you mentioned this before, but there's still like not envisioning any increase in property tax for the
Minimal.
town.
There really weren't that many new builds for 25 to tax for 26.
You're talking about.
I'm talking about
No,
for homeowners.
absolutely not.
Oh, tax rates? No.
No.
We did not put a tax increase in.
I can't promise you that next year, I'll lay this out there now.
Yeah,
Start
for
27,
27. Next year's 26.
27,
Okay.
Mm.
at least if I start warning you now.
I guess the last thing is like how comfortable are you really that the projected increase in revenue to cover this year, that you're comfortable with that it's going to be not easily, but reasonably attainable to hit that target for 26?
So, I mean, the biggest thing is a majority of our income comes in from taxes. And we collected about 98%. Actually, you-
So we actually collected over our budgeted amount for 2025. We did go really hard with collection processes this year, and we will maintain that going forward. So we will be collecting between 99 and 100%.
That's good.
But we also try to not budget for
The full
the
amount.
full amount. So anything above and beyond is great.
23 capital.
Yeah.
So, so I'm just taking a look at the revenue budget analysis.
So the money on the finance line is, there's a breakdown out here somewhere. So the finance line, is that the taxes?
Yes,
The majority of it is
it's the
taxes.
majority of taxes and then some investment, investments, franchise fees, payment processing fees.
Is that in here somewhere, is that?
Yes, so after this, it goes into revenues.
Oh, okay, I see it, thank you.
And we also have the transfer tax.
I see it's going for a big increase in transfer from water, going from
Yes.
794,000 to almost 1.3 million. That's a big $500,000 increase there, just about.
Yes, so we do have a decrease in our projected permits for 2026. 2025, there were a lot of really big projects. There was the hospital, the OMB warehouse. We also did permits for one of the new schools. Or was that just impact fees? Okay, so the projected permits going into next year are significantly less. And then there's also the increase to the police pension, because the employee pension legacy is broken out between the proprietary funds and general fund, but putting a bigger increase to the police pension, that's completely general fund. That's not broken up between the proprietary funds as well. So that's also in.
What about the transfer from sewer? Was nothing in the budget for 25 for that? It's
So
$1
sewer and water used to be combined into one
Okay.
fund. We're starting to break it out, we need to for our USDA compliance for our loans. So that is kind of a new section to the budget this year.
What about the retirement benefits for health insurance? For,
We expense that per year.
We did that.
yeah, so it's built in.
It's the OPEB lines. And those are billed to each department that they retired from.
Right.
So under town manager, they have a 73% increase. Going from a budget of 23 to 40. And then under police. What's that line? So 3 lines. I think they ended up, yes, we must have shifted something around because I don't have a 26 budget line for dispatch.
I don't think there was one that we didn't need it in. Or else we combined them all.
Okay.
I just know that can get you in trouble
Yeah.
if that's not being taken care of.
No,
Mhm.
that's only, that is something that the town actually takes care of.
Yeah, we got a big issue with that.
Unfortunately, if you're not in the county municipal plan, you're not guaranteed to plan if you're in in there, but it's negotiated for anybody that retires in town.
Right. Okay.
Anyone else for the budget?
No, I think I'm good.
Nick, do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. I think one thing sticking out, I know you've started to put something together for the budget notes, amounts for some of the key areas, so we really appreciate getting that so we can share that.
Yes.
Would help us as we're going through this, to decipher this in some detail. Before the next, before we come to the next meeting, we'd like to have an opportunity to see that. If you pull that together and send it to me, I would really appreciate it.
Yes.
So I can share it. Anyone have anything else for the 25 or 26 budget? Renee, anything else you can see off the top? Like I said, just speaking in general terms, going through it line by line, as I have, it does seem like just about everything called for, it does appear reasonable, and things are well covered both on the expense and revenue side. I know, I'm sure we'll have some particulars of specific things that we'll take a look at, and I think it'll be very helpful, for the notes that Kathleen gives us that so that we can have a more clear understanding on some of those particular areas will be very helpful. So I really appreciate everything that's being done, and the only thing I would say is I do have one issue associated with payroll, and my thought is if you're seeing the scope and magnitude of what Kathleen's dealing with on a day-to-day basis, whatever you're paying her is not enough.
I mean, we're touching on having
That's another
some
meeting.
increases here.
That's another meeting?
That's
Okay.
another
That's
meeting.
town manager's office?
It's not in the budget.
You know what, that's Kathleen's line.
Anyway, I just really appreciate everything
She's
that-
not worth it.
I appreciate
She's
everything
working
that you're
trust
doing.
And I said, not that she's not worth it, but you don't want the taxes to go. If we can do it as a pass-through somehow.
There you go.
In general, like the points of contact that I've had with Kathleen, some of the other folks around the table is what you had to deal with the financial challenges that really came to a head in 2024 and getting this town in the right direction. I think it's really shared that there's really a confidence that things are moving in the right direction. You're recovering from that financial situation and taking our town in the right direction. And it's really, really appreciated. It's not going unnoticed. So, like I say, did you have something to share as far as us to take home with us for the capital budget? The details associated with that we could take with us?
I just have this printed out again.
That's it, okay,
I mean, it shouldn't take too long to talk about it.
okay.
I just wanna do it now.
If you want to just do an overview for it, we can do
Okay.
that.
So we are utilizing a lot of impact fees, going into the 2026 capital budget.
Do we have that paper?
I think so.
I think I have it here somewhere. I just
I think
didn't
it
know
was
where I put
in
it.
the original.
Packet.
Oh, the original packet?
Yeah.
We'll have the original packet.
Yes.
This one.
No, the back, it was
Thank
the
you.
back of this.
So at the police department, we are fixing the fence and their back door. The back door actually came down to about 50,000. And we're gonna utilize the municipal facility impact fees for that. The electric department are doing a distribution circuit automation, which is necessary for when, the substation is completed, and it will help with, prepping for a SCADA system. We're gonna utilize impact fees for that. We do have a cable replacement that is necessary over by Duck Creek. That is an electrical one. We don't have funding for that yet. It's about 1.5 million. We are going to see where we are with capital funds, when we have to start it. But that one, we are kind of putting it on the books that it's coming up, we need to do it.
When's that required to be done by?
It's not a required thing, because really we had it on the books for this year.
Yeah, we pushed it off.
They just didn't get done, right? So we're kind of at the mercy of the electric department and when they're ready to get things done. So it's one of those projects that it's there, we're putting it on the books again, because we know it's coming.
We have a Quarry Lane sewer. They did actually start this, they pulled about $100,000 out of their operating budget to cover engineering costs for 2025. So the estimation for 2026 should be less than 300,000. This is an immediate project that needs to start, before anything progresses over there.
That's over at our Emmett Hospital.
No,
that
it's
the-
Quarry Lane, it's
Planet Fitness?
like Planet
Yep.
Fitness, and then also under the highway over
Okay.
into the development.
All right,
Okay.
okay, I never talked about it.
So for 2026, we are utilizing impact fees for that, and also we have a couple projects that have budget remaining after they were closed out that we were gonna utilize for that as well. And then we have our ongoing projects that are fully funded. They're either with bond or ARPA money. We do have on here the substation. We're not looking for $2 million for 2026 anymore after our most recent meeting. It might be $250,000 to put a deposit on some of the electrical products. What are they?
The
Can't think of it. Transformers.
Transformers, so because of time restraints, so a lot of things have went that we could get them within, 4 or 5 months, we're talking a year plus out. That we have to get in the queue to get this stuff ordered, we know that it's a 5-year project, and they're telling us, you gotta get in the queue now, you're gonna have to put a 20% deposit down. It could cost you over to about $200,000.
So you put that deposit down, does that put a stop on the price, so it would be increased?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, it does, so it locks us into a price, but it also shows a good faith that we're moving forward with the project, with them, and this, obviously without having them, there's no substation, so we've got to get the queue for that.
And where's the,
That's above Goldsboro Road? Is that what
Brian's
that is?
Creek, when you turn on Clark Farm, where the church is.
Yeah.
We have a 8-acre lot that we just purchased there, and that's going to be where the substation's going to be.
alright,
And then there at the bottom, we were continuing with the electric infrastructure mapping and ETAP project, and that would also be from impact fees.
For funding, what's MSA stand for?
MSA is our municipal street aid. It's funding we get from the state. We put an application in each year based off of our roads. And they give us, a dollar amount back and they break it down to quarterly payments. And we can utilize that for street repairs, curbing, sidewalk repairs, snow plow removal, or like snow removal stuff, vehicles for the streets department and stuff like that. So the $200,000 budget in there is less than we get yearly, so that way we can always have some remaining each year to carry over in case something big comes up.
Okay, so it's not spend it or lose it.
No, we
Carries
can
over.
keep it,
Carry.
it's not audited, but we do have restrictions on what we can spend it on.
I understand, okay.
Is there anywhere where it outlines like potential I guess the process of when someone collects an impact fee for a development or something that's already being put together, we've already collected that before it even got approval from council? Or is it after the approval? from
So
council?
it's with the permit process.
With the permit process,
Yep.
okay.
Okay, on the capital budget, could you just add a line for what 2025 is? Just so we have it for comparison. That would be great. Does anyone have anything else? Anything else, Ned?
No.
Renee, anything else you can think of? Okay. Mike, I guess we can adjourn the meeting. I want to say, really appreciate all the effort that's been put into this, to get this thing squared away. And very much appreciated. Thank you.